choose to have this style,
Right.
there's only certain things that they can do because it's just
right.
it's just a limiting
It's
way
limiting.
to look. It's very limiting lifestyle.
It really is. I mean, even here's the deal, and this is what I wish more of the youth would pay attention to. The people they idolize, like Diddy and T.I. and Jay-Z, those people dress when it's time to go in the boardroom.
Okay.
They put on suits. They put on what is necessary for them to put on because the people they're dealing with can tell them no just like everyone else.
Correct.
Plus, they are changing their image so that they are more like businessmen as opposed to just a performer who maybe walk around with his pants hanging down.
I think they call that the East Coast, that East Coast fashion. It's a little bit more of a suit and a tie. I mean, you see Puff Daddy and Jay-Z do that all the time now.
50 Cent.
And 50 Cent.
50 Cent. I mean, he's one that walk around with no shirt on when he's performing. And T.I. pants are so low, I'm surprised he can walk.
Okay.
But when he walks into that boardroom, they've got on suits. They got on Armani suits or whatever type of suits they choose, they have it on because they know this is a serious discussion and they need to be taken seriously.
They need to be taken seriously. And
Otherwise,
it's called a time and a place, right?
It's a time and a place. And we have got to make sure that we begin the process early. Because the youth that walk around and do this, we are allowing it. I mean, how is it that you are paying for the pants of a young man that's 15 years old?
Right, as a parent. Right.
And allowing him to have his pants hanging down below his behind.
Right.
How is that possible?
So you've set your child up for failure is what you're
saying. You set
saying.
him up for failure. And the bad thing about that, the association that comes from the street.
Okay.
For the other guys who see this young man, they automatically put him in the mindset that they have.
Okay.
Which makes it easier for them to, I guess, basically interact with him in maybe not such a positive way. Prime example, a young man who sings in church. He raps. He's from the East Coast, where I guess Midwest or Middle Eastern, Cleveland, Ohio, whichever area that falls in. He was talking to us one day, and in his approach to talking about sagging, he told us how it was that he was mistaken for a gang member. Now, mind you, he is rapping, but he's rapping gospel.
Oh.
Okay. But when he was walking down the street and ultimately riding down the street, some other guys mistook him for a gang member and actually shot him.
Oh, wow.
Now, he didn't pass away or die, but I had to stand up and let him know.
Is it worth that?
Is it worth you trying to just do this to be mistaken by somebody who thinks that you think like they do? That person didn't know him from Adam, but automatically, because they were youth and they had that type of thing in their mind, mistook him for a rival gang member because he was sagging. Whereas if he had been dressed, and I'm not saying you got to be a schoolboy, but at the same time, if you just do it appropriately, you don't send the signal out that most of us, would be able to understand.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Just to switch gears a little bit, because you actually wear two hats. You're an author, but you're also a member of the business community, with the barbershop. And I have a question. You actually have a chapter in your book called "It Takes a Village," and we all know the old saying behind that. But I'm just wondering, as part of the village, what role do you feel that business members, or not business members, business community players, what role should they play in helping to educate our youth?
I think they need to play the role that is in their realm to play.
Okay.
If they are a mechanic, be that mechanic, but when they have an opportunity, talk to the youth that come through.
Okay.
Even take chances talking to other people who might have kids or might be looking for somewhere to begin to teach them a trade. Talk to them and give them an opportunity, one at a time. You don't have to go in and try to take the whole school, but one at a time to do a few little things and show them that there's a way to earn a living that's respectable.
Right.
As community, business owners, we have to do that, because if we don't do that, then these kids believe that there's only a few ways to make it. And the unfortunate view of a lot of the urban youth is that, you have to be a rapper, you have to be some type of athlete or something to that effect that put you automatically on top right away. And that's not the case.
That's an easy thing. Again,
that's the easy thing. They think it's an automatic $1 million, but the fact of the matter is they don't know that maybe one hundredth of a percent or 1,000th of a percent of the people who actually
Right.
become a part of the athletic programs end up becoming professional athletes.
Okay.
I mean, because when you're talking about a basketball team
Yeah.
or a basketball player, I mean, what we have, 32 teams or however many there are, but they only have 13, 14, 15 players on them.
Yeah.
Well, you have 500,000 athletes graduating every
Yeah.
year
That want those spots.
that want those spots.
So,
what's the chance?
Right.
So, but if you don't mind me,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
these are the people, when you referred to earlier about cool meaning what? This cool is that guy who's delivering your mail.
Okay, good.
Cool is that
like
guy
that.
who is fixing your car.
Yes.
Cool is that person who actually, is cutting your hair. That's what cool is. But we got to start to associate that, because our cool definition has only been attributed to those athletes who are $1 million guys.
Or doctors or lawyers.
Or doctors or lawyers.
And to bring this even closer into the realm of education, I feel that by removing a lot of our vocational studies out of high school,
Yes.
The barber, the cosmetology, the mechanics, the wood, all of those vocations, I think that we might have inadvertently gone with the flow and said, hey, these jobs aren't really
important.
That's not where it's at. It's not important. Our kids don't need to be barbers. They don't need to be mechanics. They need to be engineers and scientists.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine for the kids who want to be engineers and scientists. But what about the kids who do want to be barbers and who do want to be mechanics and who do want to have some of those vocational? We've inadvertently, I believe, devalued a lot of occupations. And so I think we've also inadvertently made it to where, okay, an honest day's work or a hard day's work is something where you're like, why would I want to work that hard when I can just go do this over here?
Exactly.
Something easy.
Yeah.
Again,
forgetting what's cool. Or redefining what's cool. Because it used to be, if you had on a uniform of some kind,
right, you got a lot
that
of
was
respect.
cool. You got a lot of
right?
respect. We've got to get back to that. And like you say, inadvertently, I think we have got to remember that we used to give kids a leg up by allowing them to have some of these trades or just getting their feet wet with the woodwork or the wood shop in school.
Wood shop, yeah.
Auto mechanics in school. The cosmetologists that the ladies used to be able to take during school and get credit towards becoming certified hairstylists.
Right.
So when we look at that, I believe there is, we've made a mistake. I believe.
And we've got to make some corrections for that.
have to correct
We've just got a little bit of time left. Just for our audience, what is your call to action? What would you like our audience to take away from our discussion, and what would you call them to do in relation to pants hanging down?
My simple call to action is to say something.
Okay.
Speak. If there's anyone in your reach, is there anyone who you can say something to? We all have a circle of influence, whether that's our car, our homes, as a teacher in your classroom. Those people that come into your space who are not doing or saying or portraying the type of image that is conducive to productivity for themselves or for anybody else who views them, just say something to them.
Say something.
Say something. Yeah.
And just before we're completely out of time, how can folks get a hold of your book?
You can purchase the book on the website.
Okay.
www.pantshangingdown.com. There's a store prompt there, a link that allow you to purchase it straight from there.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's really been a pleasure discussing this with you.
You're welcome.
www.pantshangingdown.com. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You've been watching International Television.